Yeah, I'm here with Hugo, the first team head coach of the Varsity Cup at Wits. Hugo, can you just take us through your career and where you've been and where you've coached?
Yeah, look, well, I played for Transvaal in my old days, and then I was involved with Transvaal or the Lions, assistant coach, and obviously the Vodacom side and the junior sides. And then I had a stint at UJ for 4 or 5 years, and now currently I'm in my 4th year at Wits University.
And just take us through the evolution of Wits. They played in the Shield for a long time, then got promoted, and then last season had a couple of amazing wins, including a draw against the defending champions.
Yeah, look, when we started in 4 years ago, our club was in a very bad state, and we were in the Shield competition, and that was our first goal, is to get back into Varsity Cup. And then obviously our goal was to stay in Varsity Cup, that was the next 2 years, and to be very competitive. So last year's semi-final and obviously the draw against Marties, the win against Tuks was huge bonuses for us. But we believe it's structures and systems that we've put in place in the last 2 or 3 years.
And what other rugby teams exist in the Wits rugby scene?
Well, we've got obviously our race teams, which is a league in the week race league. And then obviously we've got our second teams, our third teams, and our junior systems. Our young guns are also participating in the Varsity Cup competition, which is quite exciting for them as well.
And as you know, Varsity Cup started in 2008 to get varsity sport on a new level compared to, let's say, America. And it hasn't just been rugby over the years. All the various sports have also been added onto that. And kind of looking at Monday night football, that's why they have the matches on Mondays. Have you seen a huge improvement in varsity sport over the last 10 and 12 years?
Yeah, look, it's been amazing what they've done to especially club rugby, which, you know, those days you still had your national club champs where your top clubs of every province were involved. And this initiative for Monday night, I think, has added a lot of value. If you look at how many Springboks, how many coaches has gone through this system, which has been developed, and over the years, I truly believe it's a huge bonus for SA Rugby.
You talk about coaches, guys like Jean Roux, Franco Smith, John Dobson, Puerto Himan, Nolas Murray, Jonathan Mokwena, Chester Williams. I mean, have all gone on to greater heights, or could still do that. And you've been in the system for a long time, and obviously part of it is bringing new coaches through and not just players.
Yeah, well, obviously it's also good for coaching staff, not only coaches, but I think your strength and conditioning coaches, your physios, your life skill coaches, your managers. There's a lot of development going on, and it's a huge platform for everyone that's involved.
And it obviously gives players that step between amateur club rugby and professional rugby, because we were losing a lot of players out of the system, and now guys can go to university and find another path into the professional ranks.
Yeah, well, firstly it's under 25 competition, and the way the structures and the systems are going at SA Rugby, this is definitely the platform between Super Rugby and your club rugby, and it's added a lot of value. These guys are in a semi-professional environment, I would say, because they're students. I think because of the lack of money and obviously time in the day, they can't be professional, but using this platform, you know, a very high percentage of them do get offers from either overseas or internally from unions.
Talking about overseas, you know, for the last 20 years, America's been called the sleeping giant, but they just never quite got there. And I think part of that was not having a professional rugby scene, you know, where they had almost exclusively amateur clubs playing rugby and then trying to make an international team out of that. And now again, there's that extra step from club rugby to professional rugby and then into the national team, which under Gary Gold has been doing quite well.
Yeah, look, America is doing very well, especially if you look at the development of the sevens, how competitive they are. And I think, look, it's going to take time, because obviously the competition from a 15-man code is different. But I think in 3 or 4 years' time, with the right coaches and the development of players, they could become a real force in the 50-man game.
You did talk about the draw you had against Marties, and of course they went unbeaten the whole season. You've got them in your first match on Monday. Obviously, that draw against you does give you some hope for the match. And how's the pre-season gone?
Look, the pre-season has gone well. It's gone very, very well. We've had obviously all institutions have their challenges regarding players passing, your age that you lose, a couple of boys that's finishing up. But and to be realistic, we drew with Marty's in the games in the first round robins, but in the semi-final they really exposed us, and so they're a top quality side. And again, we will be tested because you're going away. Classes are starting on Monday, so we're expecting a sellout crowd, 15,000 people at Kutsenberg, which is huge. And so we're realistic about what we want to achieve and what lies ahead of us.
But of course, if you look back to the Varsity Shield days, the fact that you made a semi-final in the Varsity Cup, I mean, you're obviously on an upward curve. And where do you want to see Wits rugby in the next couple of years?
Yeah, we're definitely on an upward curve. So one of our goals is to build the institution. If you look at a Marty's, if you look at a Tux, if you look at Picker, Korfsies, those guys have been going in their environments for 15, 20 years. Marty's is one of the strongest clubs in the world. And we're realistic that we're only 3-4 years in that process. So where we want to go is to leave something, a legacy behind that we become one of the top universities, rugby universities in South Africa.
And I think part of that, the legacy you could leave or the strength of a club is the depth, and obviously a Marty's, with their dozens and dozens of Koshuis teams and club teams. I mean, it is really about depth that keeps a first team going strong.
Yeah, it's about the depth of the club, and that I truly believe our young guns will have also a better year this year. We're realistic about their chances, but we've been working hard. Their coaches have been doing very well, the young guns coaches, and we're excited where we're going to go, because that will determine your strength over the next 3 or 4 years. So we're investing in our young gun coaches, we're investing in our young players. So it's a holistic approach, not only the first team. I mean, even in this side that we've got currently, there's quite a few under 20s, under 21 guy players, which could be still in the system for another 2 to 3 years.
Obviously, for the first 5 or 6 years of varsity rugby, UJ were the big brothers down the road. How's that relationship changed, and are you at the point now where guys are choosing Wits over UJ?
Yeah, I think, look, it's not necessarily, I think there's a place for both institutions. I truly believe that there's enough players that both universities can do well, and that is one of our dreams, is that, like last year, we had UJ and Wits in the semi-finals, which says a lot for Lions rugby. It's not only about us, it's about the union as well. So I truly believe that we are very close on par. But again, they've been longer in the system than what we are and where we are about. So we still look up to them, and we still, there's still mutual respect for both institutions. But, we want to become the best university in Johannesburg.
And just finally, just a word on some of your players. Who are you looking at as the leaders? I mean, not just Constant, who's the captain, and then also some players who might break through this season.
Yeah, so we're excited. Obviously, Constant has done well over the last 2 years with a lot of on-field good stuff, but also off-field good things. He represents the varsity very well, and he's got a huge passion, not only for rugby, but a passion for his teammates, passion for the university. He's so proud of this institution, of this amazing institution, I must be honest. But there's a lot of other players. We've got a core leader group there, Connor Brocksmith, Quanele, we got Christian Humphreys, which is a young, exciting player. We got Kurt Webster on board last year. He's a 22-year-old that's gone through the Bulls ranks. So there's a lot of exciting players. But I must be honest, it's not about the individual. If it's about the individual, we will fall short, because on Monday night we're going to compete against the Marty side that's got a lot of SA under 20 players, a lot of good quality players. So for us, it's about the team. It's really not about the individual. If we don't stick together, we'll get exposed.
Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thanks, guys.